On October 3rd, Microsoft raised the prices of their products both digitally and physically across the board. This upset a lot of people, and while we at the Maelstrom Hold like to stay looking forward to the more positive silver lining aspects of the gaming's future, we found it impossible to stay quiet after doing our research a few weeks into this. We started noticing patterns that started to concern us that we haven't seen in quite a bit, at least in the AAA world. Now, there's a good chance if you've been following this since it happened, a lot of what I'm about to say will end up being nothing new to you. But for those of y'all just joining this issue or just not hearing about it for the first time, they've been making a lot of changes. Mainly that PC Game Pass is going from $11.99 a month to $16.49 a month. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is now going up from $19.99 to $29.99 a month. And they've also changed the names and the benefits, a lot of these, from the core and standard plans now to essential and premium, with more changes coming down the line. Now, while Microsoft has also increased the price of the consoles themselves drastically, that leads us into our first problem that concerns us with what Microsoft is doing. They seem to be going away from the need to buy an Xbox console at all. Diving away from the need of a console war completely, Xbox has started an initiative to make it where you can play Xbox on anything that has an internet connection with cloud gaming. And while this seems like a great thing, it's actually problematic for a few reasons. And of course, the first being latency issues with playing games, because a lot of what Xbox delivers is competitive gaming with Halo, the Call of Duty franchise, etc. But the biggest concern is the rumors of ads being put in between your gaming sessions, and even the talk of a free-to-play model of Game Pass going forward, allowing you to watch ads in return of playing games. This scares me so much. Now let me explain. The free-to-play model looks really good to someone who doesn't have a lot of money, someone who doesn't want to put a lot of money onto a project, but also it's very predatory when you start thinking about it. After all, why would you spend millions of dollars on a game that you're going to put out for free? Now also take that idea and put that onto hundreds of games, because we're talking about a game streaming service, not one particular game. The free-to-play model is actually built on the predatory idea of the sunken cost fallacy. The more time you put into something, the more willing you are to do everything you can to complete it and finish it, especially if you've been doing it for months and months and years. When you buy a game, you've put your money towards it, and outside of season passes, battle passes, or DLC, you have an idea in your mind of how much you're willing to spend to continue and complete this goal. Free-to-play games are designed under the aspect that you're not going to keep track of $1 here, $5 there, $10 at most for a pack over 2 to 3 years if you play a game. You've sunk in so much time into it. What's $5 more? What's $10 more? You're subscribing your time and investment to smaller bits instead of a whole game, smaller packs. You're not spending $60 on a game, you're spending $5 on this character, on this pack, on this bit. Nowhere is this more prevalent than in the mobile game Need for Speed No Limits, and this is going to be an example we're going to use several times in this video to show how predatory these purchases and free-to-play modules can be. Now, while I understand that this game is an extreme end of the spectrum when it comes to purchases within a mobile game, because of the success of this game, a lot of mobile games since have followed their business module, their strategy to getting money, because it works. It works really well. It's even worked on me. I started playing this game in 2016. Need for Speed No Limits boasts over 200 cars you can race as. And as a racing enthusiast and people who play racing games a lot, that's a lot of cars for a single game. That should get you excited until you load up the game and the ads start hitting you and you realize you will never get to race as in most of these cars. Even someone who's been playing the game for years would probably only have 20, 30 cars they've unlocked unless they spent hundreds of dollars on this. And if you think I'm being exaggerative, no. The first car that pops up is over $50 to buy, and that's just for the car and a few parts to make it slightly decent. To put that in perspective, on GameStop right now, I can buy Need for Speed Most Wanted Remake, and Need for Speed Payback, 3 of their biggest releases since No Limits has come out, all for the price of a single car and a mobile game. And that's on top of watching ads. That's on top of the pop-ups that keep wanting to get you to spend and buy more. That's on top of the long loading times that keep you invested in playing. But it's okay. It's free to play. Except it's not. To get through the story, you have to get reputation raised. To get reputation, you have to race. To race, you have to have fuel. Fuels over time. To refuel, you have to hit certain milestones, or pay more to have your tank refilled, or watch ads. Now at this point you might be thinking, That's just a game built around the free-to-play module. Xbox Game Pass is going to maintain its still standard. It's just going to add a free-to-play option for those who don't want to spend money. Well, a lot of games before that have done that as well. Gaming in the 2000s, early 2010s era did not look like it does now. If you wanted to play with a large group of people, you had to play an MMORPG, or massive multiplayer online role-playing game. You couldn't just jump onto a PlayStation 3 game and have hundreds and hundreds of people at your side. You only got that experience in an MMO. But these were not free. These came with subscription costs because they cost a lot of money to keep the servers going, usually around $15 to $20 a month. Games like World of Warcraft, EVE Online, Star Trek Online, Fallen Earth, Star Wars The Old Republic, and many, many, many more. Now, a lot of these games would have an initial cost, usually around $20 to $40, and then you'd pay monthly $15 a month. You would have your friends in there, you'd have those connections, those social relationships building up, so you would want to keep your subscription up every month. You wouldn't let it drop. But also, because you're paying monthly, these companies, they had a revenue stream to put towards the game to maintain support. They keep you playing, you keep paying, they keep making money. It's a cycle. But what happens when a new game comes out that you want to play more than the current game you have? All your friends start talking about it, you all decide to move on to the next game. Not a lot of people could maintain multiple subscriptions to multiple games, so all your friends move on to the next big project, and the game that you left would suffer by losing your money. Now, if a game was big enough coming out, a lot of people would move to the new game, causing some games to fall behind or fail. But instead of losing all that progress and just shutting the game down, sometimes they would sell their game to a smaller company who would then turn it to a free-to-play module. This would allow them to sell ad space, to sell bigger content, and still make a little bit of money here and there, while also pulling in newer fan base that couldn't afford it beforehand. While a lot of people saw this as breathing new life into a game, it was typically the end of that game. That game would typically die off shortly thereafter because it would become a shell of what it used to be. Typically because a lot of people who were working on it were no longer. The biggest issue was the people who bought the game didn't care about the quality of it all, they cared about making back the money they had put towards it. Doesn't seem like that bad until you start realizing that everything that was going to be free with the upcoming expansions now will cost individual money. And when I tell you they would pick through upcoming releases and upcoming patches for anything they could monetize, it got bad. With a basic account on Star Wars The Old Republic, you couldn't even have enough gold in your account to buy some of the better items that were on the auction house. Just loading into a game, you see a difference. From the ads that play in the beginning to the pop-ups you see everywhere that takes you about 20 to 30 seconds to exit all off that just keep coming up one after another. Even the XP crawl that was built around getting you from level 1 to endgame to play with your friends has now been massively extended to get you to buy boosters, to buy XP potions, to play in certain events, to get you to buy packages, massive story arcs locked behind paywalls that you have to buy certain subscriptions or expansions just to see the ending of something you've already started. I could go on, and so could anybody who's been playing games as long as I have, but the question is, what does this have to do with Xbox? Well, Microsoft has spent almost $100 billion acquiring game companies and franchises, most notably $75 billion on Activision Blizzard alone. Now, while reports say that they made over $5 billion in profit last year, unless they plan to sustain this and keep growing over the next 20 years, it's not sustainable. They're following the exact same pattern as gaming companies did back then before they went free to play. Because remember, it's no longer about the Xbox console. It's all about Xbox everywhere. They want you playing everywhere. They want to control everywhere you can play. And once they do that, they're going to squeeze for every drop of juice they can get out of us, just like gaming companies have in the past, because it's not about making a good product, it's about recovering the losses. They do not want you buying the games. They want you streaming the games. They want you paying your subscription for the games. So before you load into a Call of Duty map, everybody has to watch an ad. Before you play the next level in the campaign, you have to watch an ad. What happens when you buy a Call of Duty game and you only pay for the campaign and you have to pay extra just to even get onto the multiplayer maps? You want to play the zombies mode? That's only for the essential subscribers. They want every game to be a subscription. And once they do that and the free-to-play module comes out, everything will be about making a dollar, no longer about the consumer. It's happened 1,000 times in the past, and it's happening again now, and that really, truly concerns me. I have canceled my Xbox Game Pass subscription. I will not be renewing it regardless how much they walk it back, no matter how cheap it gets, no matter what they offer. I'm a big advocate for physical media. I do not like digital. I do have to rely on Steam for my PC gaming because there's a massive drop for physical editions of games. Even a lot of games like Fallout 76, you buy physical, it came with a code for the game, and that really bothered me. Now, I will not judge anyone who maintains the subscription. I will not pass judgment on anyone. If you like it, if it's convenient for you and you enjoy it, I respect that wholeheartedly, and I hope you get your money out of it. But I do want you to understand that this is not the end. This is only the beginning. They're showing what they want you to see for now, and it's only going to get worse. And I want you to understand where it could be going. And I hope it doesn't, but it doesn't look to be getting any better. I wish I had a more positive frame to end on, because I do love silver linings, but I can't really find one in this story. So I'll just say I hope to see you on some games later, and I'll catch y'all next time. Laters.